course, when people talk about these mental health, ways and steps in which you can improve your mental health, it always feels very white. It feels very Caucasian. Like, what do you mean self-care? What is that? Every time you see self-care on the internet, it's usually someone lighting up some candles, soaking in a bathtub, with a face mask and listening to some Zen music. And you're like, yeah, I can't afford to do this. This is way too expensive for me to do. You see someone saying that they've gone to where to do what in the middle of where they've taken a trip, an abrupt trip for their mental health. Yeah, you can't afford that. That's expensive. However, as a Kenyan, African, Nairobian, there are many ways you can still improve your mental health that shouldn't have to break an arm, a leg, that shouldn't have to be an expensive endeavor. As simple as sit down and cook. Create a cookbook for yourself. You want to experiment with food. I often find that the most relief you will find is when you're doing something for yourself. Like you are doing this just for you. You grab a container of njahe, watu wanasema inaonja kama mchanga. It's okay. You find a way of make it not taste like mchanga. That is your whole experiment. Your experiment is just
talk to me direct.
Then no, it's not me who said. Me, I love njahe, but like find a way to make njahe not taste like sand, as people say, as soil. Tambudaga. Find a way. That will mean you have to do research. You have to try so many different applications of different vegetables, and it's not an expensive endeavor. Kwani njahe ni pesa ngapi? Kwani nyanya ni pesa ngapi? Bruh. You can do that. Find ways which make sense to you. You don't have to buy a new book every day. When you go on your phone and you can download a whole PDF of the same book, people are talking about it online. Go and find a free PDF. Ziko, zinajazang bauko. Go find that book, read it. You don't have to go and physically buy a book for 1,500 shillings. No, it's free. Access it for free. There's so many things you can do for yourself. People are telling you, oh, go for a cute little pedicure. Unakumbuka that pumice stone? You know that volcanic stone? They're sold kwa barabara. Guys are like, yeah, I take like a full-on bath with my loofah. Do you know that key sisoli thingy that looks like that is the best gekumbuthi ever. That's the original loofah. You do not have to break your bank to prioritize self-care. Find the things that are most interesting and entertaining for you and do those. They don't have to be you leaving your house or spending so much money.
Yeah, and also try to stay connected. And by this, I mean, sometimes when you're going through it and when you're feeling blue, there's the huge inclination for you to isolate. There's just usually that feeling of, let me not disturb people with my problems. Let me just, be on my own. We've seen people who are going through bouts of depression who have not left the house a whole weekend. They have not drawn their curtains. They've not talked to their friends or family. They're ignoring calls, not because they don't want to, but they simply cannot. So when you start to feel like, you know what, I think I'm in a bad place, try your very best to still stay connected to friends and family. Try your very best to still pick up that call. You never know. Try your very best to accept those invitations to go out. Even if you're feeling like your social battery is -1, just go for 10, 15 minutes, hang out. And sometimes even like the plans you really want to avoid, you get there and you end up having a really good time. So do not self-isolate. And it's usually the go-to. It's usually what feels the most right. Like, yeah, I just want to be alone for a minute. Like, I just need some me time, but then you take your me time to a whole other level. Not that I'm saying that me time is bad. Me time is important. You should have that. But yeah, don't take it too far.
Practicing mindfulness is something that you've probably heard way more than you would care for. And in fact, nowadays, even on your phone, you'll have an app telling you, take 5 minutes to be mindful. And oftentimes I feel like meditation it feels like this big, again, super white thing. You're like, what is that? What is meditation? Are you trying to tell me I'm just sitting down and doing nothing just for 10 minutes and clearing my head? Do you know what I've come to realize? Praying is meditation. Whenever you are praying, you're talking to yourself and you're telling yourself the things that you want. Yes, it feels like you're having a conversation with God, Allah, whoever. But when you're doing it, you're saying, God, please help me, you know, get to 1,000 shillings by the end of the week. This is you reminding yourself the things that you need to do, you know. God, please protect my family. And you're trying to, like, whether how can my family be protected? I want to pray for XYZ. Whatever it is you're praying for, you find that you are telling yourself what it is you need. You are having a conversation with yourself and directing it somewhere else. And that's, in my opinion, that's exactly what meditation is. It is having center and having quietness and thinking about what you need to do, prioritizing your life, thinking about what went wrong, how can I improve it. That is, for me, the same exact thing. And I hope that you find that helpful, as opposed to when someone tells you just take 5 minutes to meditate. Take 5 minutes to talk to yourself in prayer, if that helps. You know, it's the same exact thing. You don't have to direct it anywhere. You can just have this conversation with yourself, just quietly in the corner of your room. Close your eyes and just have a conversation. It really is helpful. No one is listening. If they are, great. If they're not, great. But you still have that very connected conversation and honest conversation with yourself in that way. And that, I feel like that is the only way I can grasp mindfulness from my culture.
Yeah, and also set realistic goals. And I'm not saying that don't dream big. I'm simply saying be very realistic with your reality. And also don't set yourself up for sadness or for disappointment, because that's what we do most of the time. At the beginning of the year, we've set the goals of things we want to do this year. And number one, umeweka, I want to lose 100 kg. When you know by the radar, you cannot put down a piece of cake to save your life, you know. And I'm not saying it's not possible, but within 1 year, even you, so you're setting yourself up for disappointment at the end of the year. Let it be realistic. Say, I want to be losing said amount every 3 months. You know, like, just take it slow, take it slow. At the end of the day, it is you against you. The comparison of what everyone else is doing, it puts a lot of pressure on what we are doing. Sometimes you get on the internet, and I think I said this at the beginning of the show, and you see your age mates are doing well, as if life is good, and they're not doing wash or illegal business. Like, life is just good, and you're just like, hey, Jehovah, am I a stepchild? So instead of comparing yourself to your peers, why don't you work on what is working for you right now? What do I need to do? It is you against you. It is you against your procrastination, your discipline, all of the things that would take you to the next level. So take that in mind.
Yeah, another useful thing that we've been talking about quite a bit is seeking help. And nowadays, there's so many avenues, there's so many people who are willing to guide you to a good therapist. And I know it's difficult to find a good therapist, someone who understands where you're coming from. A lot of us have biases, and those biases, unfortunately, do carry when it comes to our professional lives. But keep looking until you find someone who you feel is good for you. There's nothing wrong with changing a therapist. By the way, you have to stick to one person until. Sometimes you just don't gel. It just doesn't work out. Find someone else until you find the person who understands where you're coming from and is giving you guidance in the way that you need it to be given to you. So seek help, even if it's to church. Sometimes people need to go back to church, and just that, having structure and organization does help some people. So if that's what you need to do, then do that. If you need to do things like having a meeting with other people of the same mindset who are going through the same problem, do that. But that's the same thing as going to Bible study, going for, what do you call the other one, madrasa. There's so many ways and so many groups that you can just find stability and comfort in if you seek them out. But you have to show that extension of, hey, I need help. You know, you have to make that first step. Yeah, you have to make that first step.
And also keep it moving, stay active. Sometimes you're depressed because you haven't walked. You're depressed because you've been in the same funk, you've not exercised, your body needs some sort of release, and you're not giving it. Say you work a corporate job, you've been going to work 9 to 5, in traffic for 2 hours each day, and then you come home, as in you never get to work out your body. at some point your body is going to be like, hey, we need to be outside, and you're going to start having all of these negative feelings. And that's why you see like people who are in run clubs in the morning, they look insane running at 5 p.m., but they look so happy. Have you never wondered why they are jogging outside your house at 5:30 a.m.? Teeth, all that two of them are outside. It's because your body gets a release and it's happy, and you know there's so many benefits to you just working out. If you feel like running is too much of a task, and I hear you,
Walk.
just walk, get out, vaa headphones kama unataka muziki, ama touch grass to connect with the nature. Go outside, take a small walk. Some of you, your neighborhood, you don't even know it. If somebody dropped you at the wrong stage, unaweza potea vibaya sana. You don't even know like your people. Just to go outside and walk. If you don't want to walk outside, there are these workouts on YouTube that you can do. There's dance workout. Lazim toa meza kwa living room, katika zinaitwa sijui dance workout session,
Kizomba,
and they're like
Rumba,
20 minutes
there's so
each.
many.
Kuna ya hip hop,
Yeah.
kuna hadi workout ya R&B.
Yep.
Wanna wind their waist. Let
Yep.
me tell you, there's so many things you can do to just move your body. And I love how there's this influencer, Murugi. After she works out every morning, she asks us, have you intentionally moved your body? Yes, intentionally move your body in a day.
And yeah, it's as simple as just accumulation. Most people feel like that overwhelming sense of, oh, you have to be in the gym 2 times. You're starting off at 75 hard. Okay, well, good on you. I mean, it's great if you have the willpower, but oftentimes you'll find yourself being exhausted. It's simple things like changing how much water you're drinking every day. You know, are you drinking enough water? We've been on the Red Note app, and they're telling you we drink hot water here in China. So you're like, okay, what is hot water good for? And then you start to drink hot water, and you're like, okay, all right, I see the benefit. I see this. I see this.
I feel better.
You know,
actually.
you like drink ginger and GKKK. Unafanya huko maruganyo ya ginger na. Honestly, sometimes it's just small little increments. One good habit done continuously for 1 month can really change your life. One, become 2, becomes 3, and so on and so forth. And that, speaking of 1 and 2 and 3 and changes, how much time are you spending on your phone? Sometimes you go, you're like, you've been on the internet for 100 and how many hours? You're like, wow.
Switch it off.
Are there even that many hours in a day for me to be told I've been here for 24? Honestly, switch it up. Your phones now have abilities to like tell you when to sleep. Just tell it, I want to sleep for 8 hours, and the time that I usually find myself being sleepy is 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. It will calculate for you how much time you need to sleep, and it will start early telling you, baby, you have 30 minutes to go to bed. You got 15 minutes to go to bed.
Wind down.
All right, it's time for shutdown, baby. And it will start even shutting down things for you. No, which is going dark mode. The phone does help a lot. But if you don't follow, and you're like me, watching Young, Famous, and African at 1 o'clock in the morning, in the night,
You will suffer.
you are gonna suffer too. In the morning you'll be unable to wake up, and then that just becomes your day. Yeah, you don't sleep, then you oversleep in the morning. When you oversleep, the things you're supposed to do in the morning now have to be carried on later. It just becomes a ripple effect. So be mindful, set limits on screen time, set limits on sleep time, just have boundaries. And as simple as, hey, listen, Kathomi, we've been up all day, we need to sleep, okay? You're like, all right, Kathomi, I hear you, let's sleep. You're like, all right, it's gonna be a minute, but let's just close our eyes and see where this goes. Next thing you know, you're asleep. It's just that simple. But not for everyone. So practice will make perfect. What else?
Lastly, learn to express yourself. See something, say something. Ukiona kitu usinyamazie. And there are these people who have been actually linking most autoimmune diseases in women because of the things we suppress. The things you suppress in your body manifest in very weird ways. So if you see something, if you're uncomfortable about something, can you say, hey, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to see that. If you're happy about something, give yourself the grace to actually express joy. If you feel proud of somebody, hit them up and say, hey, you're doing good. I'm proud of you. If you're feeling like somebody's taking advantage of you, look in the eye. And I know people pleasing is very high over there because of the way we were brought up. But, you know, look at them and say, hey, I don't like how I felt when you did that. I did not appreciate that. Just advocate for yourself all the time. Because if you don't, who will? You know, if you don't express that you're not happy in a situation, who will? If you don't show your loved ones that you love them, how will they know? So just learn to be more expressive. There's nothing cute about being nonchalant and being stuck up in your feelings and just, can you chalant? Be outside chalanting. Like, give everybody chalants. You see somebody like, wow, you look very nice. It cost you zero and you felt good. So yeah, do more of that.
Absolutely. And in summary, just try and find ways to put yourself first, but also don't be an wow, the words, all of them are just cuss words. Don't be a problematic person.
A horrible person.
Don't be don't be a bad person. Just that simple. Simply because you're putting yourself first doesn't mean everyone else should take the back burner and you are the main character in every show and now you're just main characting too hard. Can you relax? Main character in your own life. Don't be spilling that over in mine. I don't care. I don't care. Anyway, don't be a douchebag. Just that simple. Live your life, but live your life with mindfulness of other people's lives. And that's a difficult thing to do because you go from to the one, the two, and the three. And then you're like, okay, cool. Maybe I am the one, the two, and the three, but there are also other people who are ones and twos and threes. So we need to all find space to coexist without batting heads. So find balance. Just find balance in your life, okay?
Balance.
My name's Kathomi. I'm going to catch you tomorrow.
My name is Tury. Goodbye.